It's interesting how God works in people's lives. And one of the things that's been happening at Trinity over the last while is a number of families have felt the call of God to adopt children. And there's something very powerful that I always feel, I suspect all of us do, when we see a family that have reached out and brought someone in out of a love for them that they've chosen to have. And one of the reasons as Christians, we look at adoption and see it as something beautiful is that it ought to remind us of who we are before God. Because by definition, every Christian has experienced an adoption. We had no natural right to be part of God's family, and he has reached out and brought us in. And that's the very heart of the gospel, that now we relate to God entirely differently. The good news of what Christ has done means the good news for us is, through faith in Christ, we are made sons of God. I was going to say sons and daughters, and yet there's a really important difference. In Roman times, a son was more than just a male child. He was someone who had full rights, who was the equivalent. And the biblical truth is that women in Christ are sons. That is, they have exactly the same rights as men did. That was revolutionary in the ancient world. And not only that, we not only have the status as sons, but the heart of the gospel is the Spirit lives in our heart to shed abroad the love of Christ and to enable us to know God as Father, not just as a fact, but as an experience. So we cry, Abba, Father. Well, that's what we're going to be talking about and thinking about from a marvelous passage in Galatians. God sent his Son into the world. God sent his Spirit into our hearts. That's where the gospel comes home. I know that you'll have a good time thinking about that.